Hey there, Carrie Rhoades here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is part 3 of my August Stamp Set of the Month series. This month I am focusing on the stamp set Sunflower Daisy by Altenew. And today I'm going to be using the Stencil mask set that can come with the stamp set if you purchase the bundle. I'm going to use that to make some backgrounds, and I'm going to turn those backgrounds into 4 cards. So we're going to get a lot of bang for our buck out of these backgrounds. So let's pull out some blending brushes and the stencil and pair it with the Sunflower Daisy stamp set to make some beautiful cards. And by the way, I'm also going to be using the Glimmer Hot Foil machine to add a beautiful sentiment to this card. So lots of fun going on. Come join me. Here's the stencil that we're going to be using that comes with the Sunflower Daisy bundle. I'm going to pull out a piece of scratch paper to put my card front size background on, and then I'm going to tape down the stencil, and the flower that I'm going to be using is the smallest of the 2 flowers. I'm taping the 2 edges so that I don't sponge a line onto my paper and only get that flower. So I'm bringing in a collection of inks from Altenew called Rose Petal, and I'm starting with the lightest color, Rose Quartz, and using a blending brush to just blend the ink on that stencil, creating a solid flower. I'm going to move my stencil over, and I'm just going to fill up this piece of paper with these flowers. And using the Rose Quartz ink with the blending brush, I'm getting a lighter saturation of ink than if I would to stamp this flower image solid. So this stencil right here, there is a coordinating stamp that stamps this exact image, so you can do flower layering. But I'm using this stencil as my base flower for this background, and then I will use the second layer in the stamp set that you would normally stamp second. I will use second over these stenciled flowers, if that makes any sense. But I'll show it to you here in a second. So you can see here, I've almost completed this background. I do like to have some of the flowers going off the edge of the paper. That gives this background the look like it was cut from a large piece of paper. It makes it more symmetrical, like it just makes more sense. So I'm filling in those little open spaces, and that will complete all the stenciling. And then I will bring in the second layer, stamp, and stamp right over what I have already stenciled with the same color of ink, which gives us a completely different look than if you were to stamp this flower with a light color of ink and then stamp the second layer with a darker color of ink, which I will show you later on in this video at the end, where I stamp on the inside of the card, and you can see the difference of the 2 looks that you'll get. So now I'm making a second background doing the exact same thing. I'm using the next darkest color in that Rose Petal collection from Altenew, and this one's called Puffy Heart. So cute. I love this ink color, Puffy Heart. But my next color that I'm going to use is my favorite from this collection, so check that one out. Okay, so I again have sponged the whole sheet. This piece of paper is 4 inches by 5.5. And now I'm going to bring in that second layer, stamp, and stamp that over the top of what I have already sponged, and that will complete the look. Then I'm putting the center of the flower, this is the second layer of the center, and I'm inking that up and stamping it down as well. Here's my third background. So the third color I've used is called Purple Wine. This color, oh man, I love this color. So pretty. So I did the same exact thing. I did the stenciling and the stamping. And now I'm going to cut all 3 of my backgrounds the same way. I'm cutting 3 strips that are 1 3/4 of an inch wide. And that will give me about a 1/4 of an inch strip left over, which I will end up using. So I did that to all 3 of my backgrounds. So now I have enough I can make 3 or 4 cards with. Now I'm going to stamp the focal image of my card, and I knew I was going to end up making 4 cards. So because I already have my stamps out and I'm inking this up in my MISTI, I'm going to go ahead and stamp all 4 of the flowers at once. So you can see this has been greatly sped up, and I'm using all 4 of the colors in that Rose Petal collection because there are 4 layers to this background, or to layering up this flower. So once I get it all lined up, it's really easy to just go ahead and rotate that paper and even bring in a second sheet of paper to go ahead and complete this flower and make 4 of them very quickly. Now this fourth color that I'm using is Cosmic Grape, and that's just giving those really fine details on this flower. I'm going to do the same thing for the centers of the flower. This time I'm using a collection of ink called Delectable Delights. The lightest color the lightest color is called Vanilla Cream. The second layer I am inking up with hazelnut ink. And then the third layer I'm inking up with almond butter. The almond butter is fabulous color. So when I inked that one up, I actually inked it twice. So here you can see I have all of my flowers done as well as my leaves. The leaves have 3 layers, and again, I used Altenew inks for them, and the collection I used is called Tropical Forest, and it's just beautiful bright green colors. So I'll use the coordinating dies to go ahead and die cut all of those out, and I have all 4 of my flowers ready to go to create 4 cards. I also wanted some extra leaves, so I took all of the accent leaves and I'm inking them up with the olive ink from the Tropical Forest collection, and I'm going to do that 2 times, so I'll have a total of 6 extra leaves, and I thought that would probably be enough to do my 4 cards. So here you'll see me inking up the last of those. They also have coordinating dies, which made it really easy for me to die cut all 6 of those. So now I'm bringing in my card base, which is a top folding card. So it measures 4 1/4 by 11. I scored it in half at 5 1/2 and then creased it on that fold. Now you can see I'm putting my background pieces down, so I have 1 of each color, and the top and the bottom one are going flush with the edge of the card and a little space in between on the center. So now I've cut a scrap piece of paper that measures the same exact size, 1 3/4 by 4. I'm going to die cut that with the coordinating die for the Glimmer Hot Foil plate I want to use to foil a sentiment on my card. I've die cut that out of that background so it can be a template. So when I turn that upside down, or so it's backwards, I can fit my Glimmer Hot Foil plate in there. Then I lay my foil on top, and then you can see I can easily line up my background so that I can get that sentiment right where I want it. Once my machine is ready to go, I push the timer button, and then I wait about 45 seconds, and when that timer is done, I gently remove my plate, and you just take that and run it right through your die cut machine. I'm using the Platinum 6 by Spellbinders, love that. If you want more information about the Glimmer Hot Foil system, I have linked a couple videos in the description box below for you, and you can watch those videos. So there it is with my glimmery sentiment. Now this did not glimmer perfectly. There is some overfoiling, but I really just left it because I thought it kind of added to the botanical feel of this card, and it didn't bother me at all. Now I'm stamping a sentiment below that from the Sunflower Daisy set. It says grateful for you, and my foiled sentiment says thank you. I've linked all the products that I used for you below, so if you're interested in the hot foil products, you can see them there and check them out from Spellbinders. Now I'm going to glue down my background pieces, and I like to do the top and bottom pieces first, and then I can more easily center that middle one between them. And again, the top and the bottom piece are glued flush with the edge of the card. Isn't that pretty? Kind of an ombre effect. And I like how I put the darker one at the top and then went lighter and lighter. Now I'm going to adhere my flower pieces. The flower is going to get popped up with some foam squares, and then the leaves will get glued down so that the flower sticks up a little bit above those. So here you'll see me go ahead and use liquid glue to glue them down. The reason why I like to do that is because then I can give it a little scoot if I stick it down when I'm arranging my flowers. I have a little time to wiggle that around if need be. So again, this one will also get the liquid glue, and I just tuck it right in there and make sure I'm not covering up too much of my sentiment. Now to accent this super cute card, I'm using some pearls. I haven't used these in a while, but I feel like they just go with the really elegant feel of this card. And the colors of this card just make me so happy. Isn't it pretty? So pretty, and really, if you watch a lot of my videos, you know I like to make cutesy things. This is way different. So I had a lot of fun doing something different. Now, you know, this month I am challenging myself to also create something on the inside of the card so it's not just plain. So I'm stamping this same flower that I stenciled on the front of the card. This is the base layer if you use the rubber stamps. And then I'm going to go over the top of that with a darker color of ink. So the base color for this flower was the rose quartz. The second layer is the puffy heart, and you can see the difference between this flower and the flower on the front of the card. It's just a different look. So it's another way that you can get a different look from this collection by stenciling versus stamping. I'm going to go ahead and do the centers of those flowers as well, and then the inside of the card kind of mirrors a little bit of what's going on the outside of the card, and then it just has that bright, happy surprise on the inside. I love it. So here I'm stamping the centers, and I got one of them backwards, but that's okay. This set is pretty forgiving if you don't get it lined up exactly right. So don't be afraid of it. And there's also a layering guide that comes with the stamp set, which greatly helps when you're first stamping with this set. All right, so now let me show you the other cards that I made with my extra strips. Here's the one that I just made. Take a look at that again and see the foil in the sunlight. So pretty. Now on this one, I hot foiled my sentiment on the light pink strip and used pink foil, and then I put my sunflower daisy image above that. So that is gorgeous. Here I reversed the order that I glued my strips on, so the lightest one is at the top, and then I went ahead and put my flower all the way at the top of the card. And now this one uses that tiny extra piece, and it just adds a little border right there, and I love it. Now again, I used a template on this one that was the same size as my piece of paper that I wanted the hot foil image on, and again, turn it over so it's backwards so you can line that up really easily and put your sentiment where you want it. All right, so those are the cards. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, and make sure you comment, because I'm going to give away one of these cards by raffling off the names of everyone who comments. And I have also drawn a winner for the card from last week. So you'll see that card pop up in just a second, and the winner will flash across the screen. If you have any questions, please let me know. I enjoy making these videos and sharing my creations with you so much. Have a great day and happy stamping. Bye-bye.